Introduction to Influencer Marketing. What is influencer marketing? Influencer marketing is a new digital marketing strategy that consists of achieving a series of collaborative links between brands and companies and those people with high visibility and prominence on the internet, known as influencers. But what are influencers? Influencers are not superhumans or magic creatures that hold the secret of social networks in a magic book. They are people who are simply characterized by having a lot of receptivity and charisma in the virtual world. Some of them, like YouTubers, for example, have channels with thousands, and in some cases even millions, of subscribers and followers. Influencers play a role that is a product of technological evolution, which plays a critical role in today's life. Naturally, these social network kings are real diamonds in the rough for brands, companies, organizations, and even entrepreneurs with emerging businesses. Their critique of a specific product or their appearance using a brand of clothing, for instance, can considerably increase the widespread acceptance of a specific brand and, therefore, boost sales like foam. For a company, applying this strategy can bring significant benefits. Some are as follows. You get to amplify the positive messages of the brand or company. You will generate a lot of conversation on the net about the products offered by the brand. It increases traffic to the website or social network profile of the brand that the influencer is promoting. The brand gains a good reputation and high prestige. If designed well, a campaign with influencers does not have to be expensive and can yield a satisfactory and profitable return on investment, ROI. Influencers are generally followed by a target audience characterized for being very consumerist and for having high purchase power, millennials. But, becoming an influencer or being considered an influencer is not only about having many followers. It is about having your opinion followed and considered by a particular audience. And at the same time, this implies a lot of hard work that involves a lot of learning, perseverance, and dedication. To be a successful influencer, you must not only know how to use the leading social networks, much less how to make beautiful publications. It is a role considered a profession and that you must take very seriously if you want to be considered by the biggest brands in the market. If you wish to be successful, we don't have a magic formula, but we have prepared this ebook with some secrets that will surely change your perspective and guide you in the process of becoming an influencer. Choose your niche. There is no magic formula to become a recognized influencer. However, you will need the charm to please your followers and to be always at the forefront of trends because, in the digital world, the last thing you want is to lag. But there are secrets you can start using to stand out. One of them is to target a specific niche. In other words, to stand out, you must find a target audience to address. And to do that, you must talk to them about a specific topic, something you stand out in a unique way and in a way that makes you stand out from the rest. It doesn't matter if you have 1,000 or 100,000 followers. What this ensures is that by speaking to a group from a specific niche on a particular topic, you will achieve an audience that is highly committed to your content. This commitment will ultimately translate not only into followers, but consumers of your content and an audience that is loyal to you and trusts your judgment. Also, it will undoubtedly make brands want to approach you eager to reach an audience committed to your criteria. So how do you choose a niche? The answer will depend on you and your skills because if you are strong in the kitchen, you cannot target an audience that loves fashion design or choose as a niche the manufacture of summer clothes. Does this mean that you should stick in only one thing? Not exactly, everything in its own time. In social networks, there are millions of people who create a great deal of content and target different audiences. In other words, there is something for everyone. Choosing a niche is a task that requires time and planning, especially if you intend to stand out among so many people who may be doing the same as you. How can you choose a niche and not die trying? To do this, you must start by writing down a straightforward list with all the things that interest you. Put special emphasis into those topics of your interest. The best that suit you are those that you want to display in your social networks. Probably, you will find that your range on tastes is enormous. Do not worry so much about it. We'll narrow down the options you've thought of later on. This works. Now, pay attention to the following explanation. Focus on a niche. By now, you should have written down all your interests and skills. These can be turned into niches. Some niches are trendy in social networks within which they stand out. Fashion, art, travel, food, geek, couples, leisure, babies, gamers, makeup, comedy, photography, fitness, For example, let's say you like the fashion niche very much. However, this niche is extensive by itself. Therefore, whatever content you post in your social network of choice might not be specific and lack the impact that you want because it would be too general and diffuse to stand out. As general as fashion is, you can select something even narrower. Options are endless if we get ourselves used to think outside the box. Following the example with the fashion niche, we can find various topics, such as garment making, fashion blogging, fashion design, fashion trends, etc. You can also narrow your niche even more. For example, if you are a fashion designer, just being one and talk about it won't suffice. You can be even more specific by talking about making swimwear. Following this idea, you can talk about making swimwear only for ladies or only for men. So, if you feel you have chosen a broad niche, you can go even deeper and adopt a smaller one. As you will see, making a thorough lookup of one to give to your followers or subscribers is worth it, since they love to know that they will find specific and unique content in your site. Therefore, it's up to you to be as specific as possible. Aim for an audience. Another essential step to success on social networks is knowing who you want to target. For this task, you can look for inspiration in other accounts targeting the same niche as you. It's completely valid if you choose to aim for a similar style of the accounts you looked up for inspiration. It's not about copying them, but about being inspired by them. This inspired aesthetic will help you identify yourself to an audience similar to theirs and help you find a similar follower base. Study your inspirational accounts carefully. Find their most successful posts and try to break them down into their core elements. This analysis will help you generate a similar post. Everything works as long as it's with your personal touch and from your originality. Evaluate according to your content. What would be your ideal audience? That is, if what you like to do is show your creative process as a fashion designer, you cannot aim at a gamer audience. Choose a leading social network. The last, but at the same time, the most crucial step, choose a network on which you want to establish yourself. This doesn't mean that you have to open an account in only one network and only dedicate yourself to it. No. But you should start in one initially, at least while you consolidate your content and build up a community. There are many networks where you can create content. For example, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter are the most popular. However, YouTube can grant you quick fame if you use it correctly. TikTok became the most downloaded social network in both Play Store and iStore in the last year. To choose a social network to work on, you first need to know it, know how it works and why not, its secrets. This knowledge will also help you find a network that identifies with you. For example, it's not the same to upload images to Instagram accompanied by a caption that makes you fall in love and seduce the customer. It's not the same as making a video for YouTube that engages the subscriber enough to see the whole thing. The best resource to exploit your full potential is to understand which social network you want to be on and make the most of it. Currently, the most used networks, in trend and growth, are Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. However, this does not imply that other social networks are losing relevance. Still, it would be very advisable to focus on the place where there is a higher number of people. Therefore, these three networks are the perfect target to become an influencer and be the target of the most recognized brands. Instagram, the fundamentals. Intro to Instagram. Instagram is a social platform based on a mobile app. It allows its user base the upload of images and videos with multiple effects, such as stickers, preset filters, frames, and then post them as content in the platform or share them across a wide array of social media. Initially, it was intended as a photography network since it was one of the first social networks that had unique filters for photos. This allowed the user to create a well-edited image and give it a professional look without much effort. Anyone could edit without using resources like Photoshop. Instagram is currently one of the leading social media platforms for both consumers and brands because it harbors more than 20 million influencers, which work for the people as entertainers and opinion leaders and for a brand as promoters to generate more sales. To become an influencer within this robust social network, in which there are more than 1,000 million users a month, you have to be very charming to please your followers and always be at the forefront of trends. In the digital world, what you want, the least is to be left behind. Most social networks nowadays work with an algorithm. The purpose of it is to humanize social networks more and more since, according to experts, in the last few years, social networks were becoming generators of social alienation. In the face of such concern, most social networks stuck to an algorithm that consists of showing you what you like, taking you to those things with which you identify yourself and with which you interact the most. The monster called algorithm. In 2018, Instagram introduced many changes to its operation, such as the great algorithm that moved us away from the timeline with which we used to see posts. But despite the adverse reaction, chronological presentation didn't seem to make a comeback, so it was up to each user to adapt and manage themselves under those new rules. Under these conditions, is it possible to adapt and overcome the Instagram algorithm? It's vital to understand that the current algorithm prioritizes highly committed stories and posts. Communication by using different Instagram tools such as stories is something of value to the algorithm. For this reason, resources like Instagram Stories and Instagram TV will continue to evolve, becoming an essential aspect of your marketing strategy on Instagram. From the very first transition of the timeline format, Instagram's feed became a scheme based primarily on interaction with other people's posts. This algorithm includes the number of likes, comments, video views, saves, forwarding, direct messaging, and any other interactions the post receives. When a post gets a lot of likes and comments, the algorithm reads it as a high-quality post, with engaging content, and it's likely that more people will be interested in seeing it. In a report about the new algorithm, Instagram's representatives commented, "The content priority in your feed will depend on whether the algorithm determines the content is interesting for you and on the quality and quantity of interactions with the person who is posting." In other words, Instagram's operation is based on humanization, not looking to be robots, but the opposite. Instagram seeks to get closer to you by providing you with the tools that will allow you to get closer to your followers, get to know them, and interact with them. It's up to you to do the job. Getting a business account. The second thing to consider if you want to grow as an Instagram influencer is to take it seriously. How? By converting your Instagram account to a business account or a creator account. It doesn't matter if your account has already been created, you can change it from the Switch to Business Account or Switch to Creator Account option on the Settings tab. Or you can simply create a new account with that option active. The tools are already there and you just have to use them. What is the difference between a business account and a creator account? With both options, you get almost the same tools. However, the business account was created considering that in the last years, numerous brands and companies have joined this social network. This reason leads to the creator accounts, devise thinking in the high number of influencers that make life in this social network and that in turn dedicate a significant part of their time to create valuable content that keeps followers hooked on consumption much longer. Creator accounts have been specially designed for influencers, allowing them to promote a good or service using their image. This option even allows you to label your sponsors, enables the creation of purely commercial content where the brand or company gets advertised 100%. One of the novelties brought about by the creation of the creator account and another notable difference concerning the business account is that the creator account was originally the only one that allowed you to visualize how many people stopped following you. Nowadays, both options will enable you to make it visible. However, both are a powerful Instagram tool that allows you to view your profile statistics. If you want to be successful on this social network, creating a strategy based on these statistics will become your ace in the hole. In both options, as a company at Instagram or as a creator, you can make announcements. This possibility will undoubtedly be your greatest ally. And although Instagram options are free, the ads generate an expense that you must pay monthly to Instagram based on the amount of advertising you do. However, more than an expense, it's an investment that is 100% worthwhile because it allows you to multiply your reach and, by segmenting it in the right way, it will be a formula that will guarantee you to gain followers. Remember that just as companies have a buyer person, an influencer must have a target audience, so the way to make ads must be in conjunction with the brand. For this reason, Instagram, which is continuously evolving, has provided its influencers with a new possibility for working with brands, creating brand content, which means creating ads for influencers. Branded content is an evolving ecosystem. So, Instagram has been concerned with listening to the requests it receives from brands and influencers about the constant creation of branded content. An influencer needs to know all the tools available to work with brands, and this new possibility of creating ads is no exception. With this new functionality, brands will pay for advertising on Instagram done from the influencer's advertising account. This functionality is a breakthrough not only for brands who will be able to control the metrics on the spot but also for users who will now be able to know if the image they see of an influencer with a casual look is on commission or not. How to configure branded content ads? Step 1. First steps, access permissions, approvals for branded content. The brand must grant the creator permission to label the company in its publication with branded content. How can this be done? 1. The brand must go to its advertiser profile in the Instagram app, select the options wheel above the Edit Profile button and choose Business Settings. 2. If the Request Approvals option is on, the Approved Accounts section will be displayed. If the option is off, you won't have to complete any more steps. 3. You must then select approved accounts and add the Instagram user of the creator you are collaborating with. 4. Finally, select Done. When you make a publication with branded content in the Instagram feed and tag the company, you will see the option that says, Allow Trading Partner to promote publication. When selected, it will permit you to promote your branded organic feed posting as an advertisement. Step 2. Campaign Setup. When you create an ad from a branded content publication on Instagram, you can use the goals of reach, brand recognition, video playback, traffic, or interaction. The secret to advertising is to build a well-segmented campaign with an engaging image, a seductive caption, and ending with a call to action that leaves the audience wanting more from you, taking them to your profile where they follow you and get hooked on your content. Create an impactful Instagram bio. Instagram's biography is your business card, especially if being an influencer has become your full-time profession. It is a small box at the top of your profile that you can fill in with 150 characters defining who you are, what you do, and why you should be followed. It should also come with a profile photo where your face is visible so that it is clear who you are. Ideally, you should choose your best photo, preferably with a proper resolution, so that it looks attractive. If you do not have a well-defined biography, you will not attract the attention of the people who target your profile. This can leave other tools utterly useless because you direct the public's attention to your profile but fail to give them a good reason why they should stay. The most important thing is that within your biography, you can add the most essential item that defines you because, in the end, those details will be the ones that make the difference from the others. Remember that what you want is to inspire confidence, and those who go to your profile will follow you and become part of your community. You mustn't forget to leave in your profile the link to your website or a particular page that you want them to see. This will be the only place where they can click and be redirected to it. Even in influencer marketing, this option is handy because if the brand wants the influencer to direct your audience to a specific link, they can leave it there and go. The influencer will work its magic by sending the audience to click on the link. Post regularly, stay consistent. If you want to be successful, the secret will be the consistency with which you create content. This is true for any task you decide to undertake. Instagram is a network that continually adapts to change and continuously updates and creates tools that further humanize this digital platform. If you want to be a successful Instagram influencer, keep an eye on updates and trends. To do this, you must keep posting regularly. For example, the stories are an excellent tool for daily use. Even if you decide not to post some days is valid, but do not disappear. You can continue to keep your followers aware of your day by posting in your stories. Remember that Instagram seeks to humanize the social network and values spontaneity, so stories do not necessarily require a large production. Being consistent is not about posting too much, it's about creating quality content. Consistency plus quality content equals guaranteed followers. Being consistent will allow you to take advantage of new tools and generate interaction with them. Remember, with every update, Instagram tells you what it likes and what your fans are likely to like. From a practical standpoint, if you're making a post that has all the necessary ingredients to generate significant interaction, ideally you'll maintain that standard and even exceed it. That is, you must evaluate what your followers like and keep them engaged with your posts. The quality must also be consistent. To do this in a more organized way, you can create a posting calendar. For this, you can use applications such as Planoly, Preview App, Garni, or even Google Calendar. A calendar will allow you to keep a specific order and not be left blank with nothing to post. It is best to take one day a week to organize the content you will post, as long as you have the flexibility to allow for off-site posting if necessary. The magic begins when you develop a habit. Then everything else is easier to do. If you can discipline yourself to be consistent, you can sit down and spend time on a project whenever you need to, even if you have little time. Discipline is key to making this act mechanical and easy to flow. In other words, constancy generates constancy. Instagram, let the game begin. What hashtags are? Although this application was born in 2010, in 2011, the already famous hashtags were added to help users find images of the same subject. Instagram allows for 30 hashtags per post. But what are the famous hashtags? Hashtags are words or phrases preceded by the hash sign, with no spaces or special characters. They work like hyperlinks, and their main objective is to segment the contents that are published. So, for example, if you use the hashtag love hashtag on several posts, whenever you click on it, you will see those same posts plus others from public accounts that have used the same hashtag. To find posts with specific hashtags on Instagram, you can also use the magnifying glass at the bottom too, if your goal is to group a certain number of posts. Using hashtags will help you lead the public to those particular posts. Usually, Hashtags go with a caption that can be either short or medium long. The hashtags you write can be about almost anything. As you type them in, Instagram will suggest other tags based on their popularity. Technically, you can use up to 30 in each post. Why is it essential to use hashtags on Instagram? These are the 3 main advantages of using hashtags properly on this social network. 1. Hashtags allow users to find your posts quickly and help them go viral. 2. By increasing visibility, you increase the reach of your message and increase the number of followers of your brand. 3. On Instagram, there's a direct link between hashtags and engagement. The more hashtags you use, the more visible your publication is, and the more likely someone will interact with it. How do I use hashtags on Instagram? Here are some recommendations to keep in mind. Focus on the goal before defining your hashtags. Research what hashtags your competition, your followers, and industry influencers use. Imagine hashtags as keywords. For example, if your niche is interior design, hashtags like #roomdecor or #roominspiration will attract people seeking inspiration for their rooms. Use hashtag search engines to identify the ones that are closest to your audience. Use popular hashtags, but only if they are content related. If not, your followers will be disappointed and will stop following you. For instance, #love is among the most effective hashtags on Instagram, but it wouldn't make much sense to use it in posts that don't relate to love. Try to use less generic and more specific hashtags. You can segment your content using hashtags that are related only to you. Remember not to include spaces or special characters. Numbers are allowed. You can use capital letters at the beginning of each word to make the hashtag easier to understand. Avoid tildes and special characters. Hashtags with characters other than Roman letters don't position themselves optimally. The ones with emojis don't position well either. Keep your hashtags short and easy to remember. Avoid fancy words. Give some variety to your hashtag pool, don't just use the same hashtags all the time as you'll miss the chance to be found through other labels. Keep in mind that posts should be public so that users can find them more easily. Use hashtags on your Instagram stories too, so they have a greater reach. Remember, you don't have to highlight hashtags to make them work. You can place them at the end of the post or wherever you prefer. The importance of captions. Knowing how to tell a story through a caption is vital, and it will help you a lot in your strategy to create captions that will hook your followers. It is a powerful tool that is available to all influencers and whose limitation will reside in the creativity you decide to have. Look at 2 examples of brands that have managed to slip into the mind and heart of the consumer, Coca-Cola and Pank. They don't sell you their product, they sell you how you will feel when using it. Users are tired of being sold products, but they love purchasing emotions. Your followers may forget what you say, but they will never forget how you make them feel. That's why telling a story through a post has become the holy grail of great brands and even influencers today. Instagram's new algorithm favors posts that generate engagement, and therefore, a post that receives a lot of likes and comments will be more likely to reach a larger audience than a post that doesn't call for your followers to participate. Forrester Research claims that Instagram is the king of social interaction. That's because the most influential brands are registering high rates of engagement. They get a 2-3% interaction for every follower, and this figure exceeds the engagement generated by the same brands on both Facebook and Twitter. Writing a caption that makes you fall in love on Instagram is synonymous with giving a little wink to tell your community that you're there, that there's a human being behind your profile. The text is essential in this channel for several reasons. You will keep the flame alive between you and your community. You will make it clear that you are interested in what your followers think of you. Also, the text is ideal for raising questions and encouraging participation. But writing a caption that gets the full attention of your followers also has its creative and intellectual process. To be effective, you must identify the tone of what you want to communicate. Identify what qualities and values you want to be remembered for. Be consistent. Make a right combination of image and caption. Both things must be connected because your post can have a decent picture. Still, if it does not have a good caption or an engaging story in the caption, then you will not generate the reactions you want so much. Tell a story. Storytelling is the art of connecting with your audience through stories. You need to generate closeness, show empathy, and establish a special connection with the users. A suitable method for writing good Instagram captions is to tell the story behind the image. Watch the beginning. First words are most important. Instagram will only show your followers the first 2 lines of your caption, so if you want to make them fall in love, you must say the most essential things in the first 2 lines so your followers will want to read more. Take your time. Don't write something instantly and in a hurry. Not if you want to engage your community. Choose your words carefully, be concise. Make a call to action. One of the critical points of a caption is to generate interaction, so making a call to action will invite your followers to interact with you, give you feedback and even feel part of something. Use emojis. Not everything is formal and you can make a good caption and use emojis if necessary. Just remember that it must be promptly, you do not want to bore the audience with a text full of happy faces. Don't forget to say thank you. If you are collaborating with another influencer or a brand, it must be not only labeled but also mentioned in the caption. This will generate interest from your followers in them and generate traffic to their profiles. The first step in writing a proper caption on Instagram is to know your audience and understand what they are looking for in you. The art of storytelling on social networks has grown so exponentially that today a group of influencers called caption influencers has been born, whose task is to turn their captions into a kind of blog where they tell their experiences, tell their stories, contribute their criticism, and even some use it as a journal or diary. This makes Instagram a perfect social network for microblogging. The magic of the caption influencers is to be able to capture with the photo and connect it correctly with the description, which works perfectly as a differentiator between so many images accompanied by Walt Disney's phrases. Instagram, the next steps. Analyze your audience. On Instagram, nothing happens by accident, so through audience analysis, you'll be able to know the demographics of your followers, their ages, which content they like the most, and even the hours when they are most active. This will lead you to plan and study the content you're going to publish and even the best time you can do it. Just as companies and brands must find their buyer person, your duty as an influencer is to find a community that feels an affinity with you, that likes your content, and not only that, that is able to interact with it and share it with other people. Analyzing Instagram followers is something you should always do if you want to achieve success with your campaigns. Whether you're planning a strategy or not, you need to know what's going on in your social network. By planning, you can increase your followers, get more engagement, and improve your sales. Then you'll be able to see if your Instagram strategy is achieving its goals. You will then be able to improve and refine your plan to improve your stats again. Still not clear? Well, it's great to know that you should always have a dashboard on hand to see what's working, what's not, and what needs to be done to fix it. Analyzing your followers on Instagram is part of managing your online community, knowing who is following you and why it is imperative to your brand. So, analyzing and measuring should be a core activity within your entire social media strategy. This is essential for several reasons. It allows you to adapt your content strategy according to your followers, knowing the best times of day to share content. To notice which of your followers are active and which are not, to be able to reactivate the passive ones. Knowing what kind of content your community creates to get an idea of what works best. Segmenting your audience better to adapt your strategies to each one. Analyzing why people follow or unfollow you. But how? The answer is simple, by analyzing Instagram's profile metrics. Growth rate of followers? If you consider that social networks are platforms for social interaction, it is clear that this metric will not be the most important of all. But it will be beneficial to control the evolution of the number of followers. And this, although it is not a determinant, will give you a good idea of how effective your strategy is being. Finding the relationship between the actions you take and the increase or decrease of your followers is the objective of this metric. Once you upload an image, analyze what happens and ask yourself, have my followers increased? What content have you published when too many have decided to stop following you? The famous engagement. The engagement of a publication is the number of interactions it can achieve. Whether they are clicks, likes, or shares, this will be a clear indication of the quality of your content on Instagram. This metric is essential to set the direction of your strategy because it gives a good account of what your followers like best. By looking at each publishing format separately, images, videos, stories, etc., you'll find it much easier to determine which ones work best. Audience metrics. Of course, when analyzing Instagram followers, there are several specific metrics. These are the ones that will help you better determine what your followers are like, what their habits are, how they behave with your posts, etc. This allows you to know what your audience is like in terms of demographics and what the peak hours are for them. The power of stories. Stories is Instagram's most successful tool since it came out into the world. It also has metrics that can help you know if the stories you share are appealing and being well received by your fans. So, its 5 metrics are: Next, the number of times a user views your story and clicks on the right side of the screen to move to the next story. Back, the number of times a user sees your story and clicks on the left of the screen to see it again. Next story, the number of times people swipe to see the stories of the following account. This indicates that your stories are not being attractive. Dropouts, the number of times users drop out of stories by returning to the feed or exiting Instagram directly. Responses, this is how many users have direct responses to your stories. For example, if you have linked something, how many users swipe up? Connect with other influencers. Networking is essential, especially if you're looking to meet people in your niche or with a similar audience. Working with other influencers can be a great thing on Instagram, especially if they are in the same industry. Today it is no longer a question of who can establish more partnerships, but of who is capable of doing the hard work. That is why Instagram provides you with tools that seek humanization, a network inhabited by real communities, by people who support each other and work in teams. You can establish a network of contacts within the target you have decided to focus on, people who do the same as you and who, of course, are willing to collaborate with you. Attend events where other influencers are present, and where you can make yourself known and make part of your work recognized. The events are also an excellent opportunity for brands to discover their new allies. But does that mean you should only collaborate with people who are just like you? No, if your business network is made up exclusively of people who are exactly like you will be missing out on significant business opportunities. As an influencer, you will have countless opportunities to collaborate creatively with people in other industries. Benefits of making collaborations with other influencers. It can help you get brand partnerships or generate business opportunities. It will help you to give visibility to your content and therefore, awaken the interest of a new audience. It is an excellent opportunity to meet new suppliers or brands interested in you. It will improve your level of communication and other professional skills, such as leadership. You will be able to see and meet your competition, even form alliances with them. You will increase your self-esteem and self-confidence. You will learn about success stories and the path they went through to get to the top. You will be aware of market trends. If you want to expand your professional and digital networks, creating alliances can take you extremely far. How to connect with other influencers. Think carefully who you want to reach and why. Not every influencer might be suitable to your niche, style, and goals. If you're contacting an influencer on the same niche as yours, odds are they have seen your content, which will make the conversation easier. On the other hand, contacting an influencer outside your niche or area of interest can have several benefits, such as recommending each other for different areas of interest. You can use several online tools such as HypoDetour and Influencity to measure the reach of the influencer you wish to contact. Consider what you want from them and what can you offer to them in return. Think about the ways in which you and the other influencer can work together. If you can, reach out to them in person. Attend the same events as them. Book a personal appointment if necessary. There's something special about face-to-face communication and the connection it creates that can't be replaced. You can use that in your favor. If you have to resort to digital communications, remember that you're talking to another human being on the other side of the screen. Be kind and allow yourself to reduce the formalities, since they might generate distance between you and the influencer. Interacting makes the audience feel special, part of a community. Besides, Instagram has tools that allow you to showcase part of your day-to-day life and generate interaction through quick questions or surveys. The Instagram algorithm does not reward an account full of likes and comments, but those who take the time to respond to their followers and generate positive feedback from them. Remember, they're not just followers. They're a community that you should value and make them feel like they're there. Your Instagram profile is like home and your followers are your visitors. As a good host, you must take care of your visitors' comfort, feed them, talk to them and provide them with an unforgettable time. If you don't treat your visitors well at home, will they want to visit again? The answer is obvious. No one likes to stay in a place where they don't receive proper attention. That's why you should focus on treating your followers well, interacting with them and making them feel they are in the right place by following you. Interaction isn't just about you replying to comments or messages, it's also about you going to the profile of those following you and leaving a comment or even a like there. Create quality content. Have you thought about all the work that goes into taking the perfect picture? It's worth it when the reward is thousands of likes, interaction and new followers. The competition is high on Instagram, but if your content is quality, you'll have a guaranteed safe audience. Remember that Instagram is a more humane social network every day, so your content should be genuine and as original as possible. If you copy, your followers will notice. Also, if you want to make it your secure income, then you need to take it seriously and invest in equipment that can produce photos and videos to suit your audience, and even get advice from professionals such as photographers or graphic designers who can help you create visually appealing content. Be creative. Remember that interaction is not just about sitting back and waiting for likes and comments. You must also provoke the interaction by being creative with the creation of your content and, of course, by calling for action. Always ask your followers what they think about this. Would you like to see more similar content? And even take advantage of the use of stickers in your stories, such as surveys, questionnaires, questions. It's a way to generate interaction and, at the same time, create content almost instantly. As in all social networks, you must interact with the people you are interested in being followed. Contacting brands. There is no specific number of followers that determine when you're ready for a brand to contact you, so it never hurts to take the risk of taking the first step. You can be an influencer or a micro-influencer. The goal for brands is the same: exposure, content creation, and of course, generating sales or traffic. But who says that brands should strictly make the first contact? It is not something strict. If you feel confident about your community, you can offer brand collaboration with you. After all, there is nothing to lose by trying. Do your research. Before you make the first contact with a brand, you should do some research about it, look at their social networks and find the most appropriate way to contact them. Remember that if you want to gain visibility as a professional, you must act as one. Locate an email that the brand has for the marketing department, or if it is a smaller or emerging brand, contact them directly via WhatsApp. If you send a message to their Instagram mailbox, chances are your message will be lost. You want all the attention to be directed to you. Even though it's online, the treatment should be as humane and personalized as possible. Researching also gives you the chance to learn about the brand and perhaps identify the critical point where you may be needed. If in your first contact, you tell the brand why they need you, it will be easier for them to understand why. You will have several points in your favor. You must also take care of coherence. When you have the purpose of contacting a brand, you look for following it, interacting with it, arousing the interest in you in the same way you have in it. Many fall into the error of asking for collaboration with brands they do not know. Don't you do it too? Find brands that you can identify with and that you think will make your audience fall in love with. A good influencer knows its audience and knows that it will like what it shares. You only have one chance to make a first impression. Show that the brand can trust you because you went further from the beginning. Make contact. Once you have done your research, the next step is to contact the brand. Take your time to write a clear and precise message that tells the brand your interests in establishing an alliance and collaboration. Tell them who you are, what your main networks are, and the channels you use to reach your audience. Remember that it is about honestly selling your image to awaken the brand's interest in you. Also, take advantage of the previous research you did, indicate your strengths, data that stand out that make the brand want to work with you. It's not about pointing out the brand and showing that there is something wrong with it, but rather highlighting the attributes you possess that may be relevant to the brand. Present yourself as a professional. Providing data is essential to justify the investment the brand will make in the collaboration. If your Instagram account is already a business or creator account, you'll have statistics to help you get accurate measurements of your target audience, the visits you have, where they locate, and even the most favorable publishing hours. Data plays a vital role in working with any brand. Have at your disposal a portfolio of your work or a social media kit. This portfolio will not only make you look like a professional in front of the brand. An advisor can prepare a social media kit. Remember that you don't want to send an improvised job with screenshots that you have just made to your statistics. Professional work must be done in advance to get an excellent result. Persist without being pushy. There's nothing worse than a pushy, annoying person. If a brand gives you the first refusal to a proposal, you can withdraw, wait a couple of months, and then reconsider the offer. In some cases, the brand may indicate that it is not the right time or that you can do it later. You are free to propose and they are free to reject. It's an excellent opportunity to learn, and you don't know if the brands that rejected you will be interested in you later. Focus on excellence.